80-year-old Bill Cosby was found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting Temple University employee Andrea Constand.
25 worst sex maniacs in Hollywood history. Are you ready to dive into the darkest corners of Hollywood history? Buckle up, because today we're counting down the 25 worst sex maniacs to ever grace the silver screen. Get ready for a wild ride. Number 25, Michael Jackson. The 2005 trial acquitted Jackson, but sexual abuse allegations kept returning to haunt the King of Pop time and again. But wait, did Michael Jackson's innocence truly prevail? Or was there more to the King of Pop story than meets the eye? Let's peel back the layers and uncover the truth behind the scandalous allegations. In 1993, Evan Chandler filed a case accusing him of sexually abusing his 13-year-old son, Jordan. A civil case was settled out of court in early 1994 when he paid Chandler a reported $20 million. The biggest push in the downward spiral of Jackson's career came in November 2003 when he was arrested and charged with child abuse based on a 13-year-old cancer sufferer Gavin Arizo's claims. British journalist Martin Bashir's documentary, in which the thriller hitmaker admitted to having shared his bed with children, was used as evidence in the case. Dubbed the trial of the century, the 14-week ordeal ended in June 2005, with Jackson being cleared of all charges. In 2013, 4 years after his death, Wade Robson accused Jackson of having molested him.
And Jesus said to love the children and be like children. And he always surrounded himself with children. And that's how I was raised, to believe and to be like them.
Number 24, Daryl F. Zanuck. You thought Hollywood was all glitz and glamour? Think again. Dive back into the scandalous affairs of legendary producer Daryl F. Zanuck as we uncover the darker side of Tinseltown. Hollywood producer Daryl F. Zanuck was legendary in the industry, but not just for the movies he made. Zanuck worked his way through actresses on the sofa in his office faster than the credits rolled on his flicks, according to the tome The Zanucks of Hollywood, The Dark Legacy of an American Dynasty by Marlis Harris. His daily bedding of budding starlets operated like clockwork. At 4 p.m. every Friday, his Fox Century studio would shut down while Zanuck shuttled a young woman through a subterranean passage to his green-paneled office, according to Harris and Deadline Hollywood. Anyone at the studio knew of the afternoon trysts, Harris wrote. He was not serious about any of the women. To him, they were merely pleasurable breaks in the day, like polo, lunch, and practical jokes.
Than the wives of a man so successful as you, I'm going to ask Mrs. Daryl Zanuck, Virginia Zanuck, to stand up now and take a bow out there. Virginia Zanuck.
Number 23, Louis B. Mayer. From the golden age of Hollywood to the shadows of scandal, Louis B. Mayer's legacy is far from pristine. Long before Weinstein, there was Louis B. Mayer, who co-founded the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios in 1924. Mayer, the ground zero of this kind of abuse, had means, motive, opportunity, and that critical piece of the puzzle, the whip. If women didn't comply, he threatened to ruin their careers or those of their loved ones. Sound familiar? Louis B. Mayer has been accused of sexual abuse, including having groped a then-teenage Judy Garland. According to Gerald Clark's book, Get Happy, The Life of Judy Garland, Mayer held meetings with the young woman seated on his lap, his hands on her chest, while telling her, "You sing from the heart." A creepy anecdote Garland recalled in a memoir. But wait, there's another director with a sordid past.
I would describe L.B. Mayer as a courtly, polished, evil villain.
Number 22, Michael Winner. Oscar winner Dame Helen Mirren, who commands respect and awe wherever she goes today, has said that back in 1964, at the tender age of 19, she was just another plaything to director Michael Winner. Mirren, now 72, said she will never forget how, during an audition, Winner made her flaunt her body as he leered. "I was mortified and incredibly angry," she told Richard Madley and Judy Finnegan in a 2007 television interview. "I thought it was insulting and sexist, and I don't think any actress should be treated like that, like a piece of meat, at all." But hold the phone. There's more scandalous behavior to uncover.
When did you first come across or hear of Michael Winner?
Well, you know, as a young actress, he was a very, very big director. I was so excited that he wanted to see me.
Number 21, Arthur Freed. Arthur Freed was an American lyricist and a Hollywood film producer. He won the Academy Award for Best Picture twice. In 1951 for An American in Paris, and in 1958 for Gigi. Shirley Temple became famous as a child star. In 1940, when Temple was 12 years old, she attended a meeting with MGM producer Arthur Freed. He exposed himself to the young Temple, and then, when she started to laugh nervously, made her leave the office. She wrote of the incident in her 1988 memoir, Child Star. But there's another Hollywood figure with a tarnished reputation.
He went into the office of Louis B. Mayer, and I went into the office of Arthur Freed. And he was going to talk to me about a movie he wanted to put me in. I'm 12 years old, you know. And I thought he was a producer, but instead he was an exhibitor.
Number 20, Ronald Reagan. Before his political career, Reagan was accused of predatory behavior towards women. Delve into the dark secrets of this actor turned president. Before he became POTUS, Reagan was an actor who was reportedly abusive and predatory toward women. Actress Celine Walters claimed that in the 1950s, Reagan raped her, reportedly telling people of their encounter. "I opened the door, then it was the battle of the couch. I was fighting him. I didn't want him to make love to me. He's a very big man, and he just had his way." Date rape? No, God no, that's Kelly's phrase. "I didn't have a chance to have a date with him." Actress Piper Laurie, pictured here, also claimed in her memoir that Reagan took her virginity when she was 18 and he was 39, when he played her father in a movie.
It's fairly simple. A lot of people think they're born better than others. I'm trying to prove it's the way you're raised that counts.
Number 19, Clark Gable. Hollywood heartthrob turned alleged perpetrator. Gable's legacy is marred by accusations of date rape and scandalous affairs. Join us as we uncover the truth behind the silver screen idol. Gable was one of Hollywood's original heartthrobs. His legacy has continued to last, even though he reportedly date raped actress Loretta Young when she was 23, impregnating her while he was married to another woman. Gable managed to hide the affair, the pregnancy, and the birth of their daughter from the public for more than a year. Her choice to have her daughter in secret, surrender her to an orphanage, only to then adopt her back as a toddler, was a reflection of the times. Loretta later married Tom Lewis and had 2 sons. Judy Lewis became the adopted daughter. According to reports, Young didn't realize she had been date raped until she was 85, as she wasn't familiar with the term.
I'm not getting married.
Is that on the level?
Number 18, Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. In a tale of tragedy and scandal, Arbuckle's career was destroyed by accusations of rape and murder. Explore the shocking events that rocked Hollywood's golden age. Popular comedian Fatty Arbuckle was acquitted of charges stemming from the death of actress Virginia Rapp after a hotel party, during which Arbuckle reportedly violently abused and raped her. Suffering brutal injuries, including a ruptured bladder, Rapp died in the hospital 3 days later. Though the newspapers of the day reveled in the gory, rumored details, juries found little evidence that Arbuckle was in any way connected with her death, but his reputation suffered greatly after Rapp's death. The public reaction to Arbuckle was fierce, perhaps even more than the specific charges of rape and murder. Arbuckle became a symbol of Hollywood's immorality. Movie houses across the country almost immediately stopped showing Arbuckle's movies. The public was angry, and they were using Arbuckle as a target. Number 17, Errol Flynn. The swashbuckling hero of the silver screen had a dark side. In late 1942, two 17-year-old girls, Betty Hansen and Peggy Satterley, separately accused Flynn of statutory rape at the Bel Air home of Flynn's friend Frederick McAvoy and on Flynn's yacht Sirocco, respectively. The scandal received immense press attention. Many of Flynn's fans founded organizations to publicly protest the accusation. One such group, the American Boys Club for the Defense of Errol Flynn, ABCDEF, accumulated a substantial membership that included William F. Buckley Jr. The trial took place in late January and early February 1943. Flynn's attorney, Jerry Geisler, impunged the accuser's character and morals and accused them of numerous indiscretions, including affairs with married men and, in Satterley's case, an abortion, which was illegal at the time. He noted that the two girls, who said they did not know each other, filed their complaints within days of each other, although the episodes allegedly took place more than a year apart. He implied that the girls had cooperated with prosecutors in hopes of avoiding prosecution themselves. Flynn was acquitted, but the trial's widespread coverage and lurid overtones permanently damaged his carefully cultivated screen image as an idealized romantic leading player. Perhaps no star in Hollywood was as tragic and troubled as Errol Flynn. The great thing about Errol was you always knew exactly where you stood with him because he always let you down. He writes. On one particularly troubling occasion, Niven claims that Flynn, who was tried and acquitted of statutory rape by two women in the early 1940s, invited him to go view the best-looking girls in LA. Allegedly, Flynn drove them down Sunset Boulevard, parking directly across from Hollywood High, just as school was letting out. Number 16, Geoffrey Rush. Accusations of sexual misconduct tarnished the reputation of this Australian actor. Yale Stone accused the Australian actor of sexual misconduct in December 2018, claiming to the New York Times that Rush mistreated her while they worked together on the theater production of The Diary of a Madman in 2010 and 2011 in Sydney. The Orange is the New Black actress alleged that Rush sent her inappropriate text messages, touched her in a very sensual manner at an award show, and once held up a mirror to spy on her while she was taking a shower at the theater. Rush denied the claims in a statement to the Times. From the outset, I just make it clear that the allegations of inappropriate behavior made by Yale Stone are incorrect and in some instances have been taken completely out of context, he wrote. However, clearly, Yale has been upset on occasion by the spirited enthusiasm I generally bring to my work, Rush continued. I sincerely and deeply regret if I have caused her any distress. This, most certainly, has never been my intention.
I looked up and saw a small shaving mirror being held over the top of the cubicle to be kind of used in a way to look down at my naked body.
Number 15, Alfred Hitchcock. The beloved director is the mastermind behind some of Hollywood's best classic movies, including Psycho and The Birds. But the man behind the celluloid was known as a sexual predator, and reports have surfaced about his inappropriate sexual advances toward female stars. Tippi Hedren, star of Marnie and The Birds, said of Hitchcock's advances, "I don't know what to call it. It was something I'd never experienced before. It wasn't love. When you love someone, you treat them well. We are dealing with a mind here that is incomprehensible, and I am certainly not capable of discerning what was going on through his mind or why. I certainly gave no indication that I was ever interested in a relationship with him. He was allegedly aggravated that she refused his repeated sexual advances. Hitch said he would ruin my career, and I told him to do what he had to do," she said. "It has taken 50 years, but it is about time that women started standing up for themselves, as they appear to be doing in the Weinstein case. Good for them."
How serious was it? Did Alfred Hitchcock try to have sex with you?
Well, he never got that far. I stopped it immediately.
Number 14, Louise Brooks. Louise Brooks had an extraordinarily brief but impactful film career. She hated Hollywood, seeking instead to build a haven, as this Pop Matters piece memorably puts it, out of sex, books, and gin. Brooks did, however, like to have a good time. She left her first husband, director Eddie Sutherland, after she fell in love with George Preston Marshall, owner of the Washington Redskins. She then left Marshall to marry someone else, whom she then left after less than 6 months. Brooks also had many lovers, including, for a night, Greta Garbo, and frequently posed nude. It was all short-lived, though. Brooks's life in film was over by the time she was 26. But though her subsequent poverty caused a lot of problems, she never really regretted leaving the limelight. Number 13, Conrad Nagel. The matinee idol's dark secret was revealed in Joan Fontaine's tell-all book. John Conrad Nagel was an American film, stage, television, and radio actor. He was considered a famous matinee idol and leading man of the 1920s and 1930s. Joan Fontaine's story about her abuse in the industry is rather unknown. In her tell-all book, No Bed of Roses, Joan explains how she was raped by Conrad Nagel, an actor she was dating at the time. On page 84 of her book, she speaks about how Conrad did not even give her the chance to give consent. But suddenly, Conrad rose from his armchair, threw back my bed covers, and before I could protest, the dire deed was done. Joan wrote, "One might say I was surprised out of my virginity. I was 20. Joan never spoke publicly about the rape, but if you read that in her book, it showed how she was taken advantage of at the tender age of 20. Number 12, Roman Polanski. One of Hollywood's most notorious scandals comes thanks to Polanski, who was arrested and pled guilty to raping a 13-year-old girl in 1977. He then fled to Paris to avoid the rape charges and continues to live in France and Poland, avoiding a U.S. request for extradition. In a 1979 interview, Polanski reportedly said, "If I had killed somebody, it wouldn't have had so much appeal to the press, you see. But fucking, you see, and the young girls. Judges want to fuck young girls. Juries want to fuck young girls. Everyone wants to fuck young girls." He has since publicly apologized to his victim, saying that he regrets raping her and continues to make Oscar-winning movies. Director Roman Polanski is again being sued over more allegations of sexual assault of a minor. A woman has sued director Roman Polanski, alleging he raped her in his home when she was a minor in 1973. The woman aired her allegations, which the 90-year-old Polanski has denied, in a news conference with her attorney, Gloria Allred, on Tuesday. The account is similar to the still unresolved Los Angeles criminal sexual assault case that prompted Polanski to 1978 to flee to Europe, where he has remained since. The woman who filed the civil suit said she went to dinner with Polanski, who knew she was under 18 in 1973, months after she had met him at a party. She said Polanski gave her tequila shots at his home beforehand and at the restaurant. She said she'd become groggy, and Polanski drove her home. She next remembers lying next to him in his bed. He told her that he wanted to have sex with her, plaintiff says. Plaintiff, though groggy, told defendant no. She told him, "Please, don't do this." He ignored her pleas. Defendant Polanski removed plaintiff's clothes and proceeded to rape her, causing her tremendous physical and emotional pain and suffering. A major figure in the new Hollywood film renaissance of the 1960s and 70s, Polanski directed movies including Rosemary's Baby and Chinatown. Number 11, Bill Cosby. America's beloved dad was unmasked as a predator, facing countless accusations of sexual assault. Delve into Cosby's downfall and the women who bravely spoke out against him. Bill Cosby was acting in one of the most famous shows of that time and was called America's Dad for the role he played as Cliff Huxtable, on the highly rated show The Cosby Show. However, it came up that the character didn't reflect him in real life. Although the title stayed with him for years after the end of the sitcom in 1992, he all of a sudden became a disgraced actor after a number of women made sexual assault accusations against him in the mid-2010s, with the earliest incidents dating back decades. I mean, talk about celebrities who ruined their reputation. Bill Cosby was the Pudding Pop spokesman. More than 50 women have accused him of attempted sexual assault, rape, sexual battery, drug-facilitated sexual assault, child sexual abuse, or sexual misconduct, which he all denied. The statute of limitations has, by the mid-2010s, expired in almost all cases. However, he was delivered to trial for one case involving a Toronto girl.
80-year-old Bill Cosby was found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting Temple University employee Andrea Constand.
Number 10. Rob Lowe. The heartthrob's promising career was derailed by a scandalous sex tape involving a minor. One of the items confiscated after the police searched and seized boxes of material and personal computers in Paul Rubin's Hollywood Hills home was Rob Lowe's sex tape. That tape had a huge role because it was the very first video of celebrities having sexual intercourse that was copied and sold at large. At that time, Rob Lowe was very famous and part of the Brat Pack in the 80s, taking part in Youngbloods and St. Elmo's Fire. However, after a video of him having sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old girl leaked, his very promising career started going down. Let's go back to the beginning. In 1988, Rob Lowe was 24 years old, and he made a sex tape with a 16-year-old girl and a 22-year-old in a hotel room in Georgia. At the time, the age of consent in Georgia was 14, so Lowe wasn't charged with statutory rape. He did have to settle out of court in some civil cases, and he agreed to 20 hours of community service as a way to avoid being criminally charged for taping the encounter, which was illegal. Professionally, he suffered for a few years, but he was given a few million other chances.
Something I don't really have all that much control over, believe it or not. I've never had any negative things happen. I mean...
Number 9. Chuck Berry. In 1959, Berry was arrested for taking a 14-year-old girl, Janice Escalante, across state lines for immoral purposes, a crime for which he eventually served 2 years in prison. But that was almost 60 years ago. Some might say, different time, different morals. Well, kinda. That he was then accused of installing a video camera in the ladies' toilet of his Missouri restaurant is less easy to jazz hands away, given that it happened in the not wildly distant year of 1989. After tapes from this camera were found in Berry's home, he was given a suspended sentence and settled a class action with 59 women. When it came to sex, drugs, and rock and roll, legend Chuck Berry rang all the bells, and then some. Berry, who died of natural causes on Saturday at age 90, is widely credited with helping create rock and roll in the 1950s, with a string of hits including Johnny B. Good and Roll Over Beethoven. Following 2 trips to the Slammer, Berry was busted over a 1990 drug raid on his estate in Wentzville, Missouri. Although authorities suspected him of transporting huge loads of cocaine in his guitar case as part of a multi-million-dollar drug operation, the search only turned up about 2 ounces of pot, some hashish, 2 rifles, and a shotgun, as well as more than $122,000 in cash. But the cops also found a huge stash of pornography, including dozens of videotapes, trays of photographic slides, and books, some of which appeared to show underage girls. Berry, who publicly denied ever using coke, was charged with pot possession and 3 counts of child abuse for the underage porn.
There have been high times, of course, and there have been hard times too. On balance, what kind of a career has it been?
Well, I would say exciting and far above my expectations. I had no idea. They told me Maybelline might last 2 years. I had disbelief in that.
Number 8. Woody Allen. Allen is a more contemporary example of Hollywood scandal, but an important one to remember. Allen was accused of sexually abusing his 7-year-old adopted daughter, Dylan, by his then-partner, Mia Farrow, in 1992. The family then became embroiled in an intense legal battle, with the judge in the case reportedly telling Allen that his behavior toward his daughter was grossly inappropriate and that measures must be taken to protect her. Allen was then involved in a subsequent scandal after Farrow discovered nude and sexually explicit photos of her adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn, who was 19 at the time. Allen and Previn soon began a relationship and have since married. For his part, Allen has vehemently denied any misconduct or misbehavior. "I didn't find any moral dilemmas whatsoever," Allen told Time about his relationship with Previn. "I didn't feel that just because she was Mia's daughter, that there was any great moral dilemma. It was a fact, but not one with any great import. It wasn't like she was my daughter."
He has a chair in history at Princeton, and the short man is Herschel Kaminsky. He has a chair in philosophy at Cornell.
Yeah, 2 more chairs. They got a dining room set.
Number 7, Vincent Margera. Vincent Margera of the hit MTV reality show Viva La Bam was convicted in 2007 of 2 counts of sexual assault of a child, charges stemming from his alleged groping of young girls aged 12 and 14. He was sentenced to 10 years of probation and required to register as a sex offender. While Margera was acquitted on a 3rd count of sexual assault on a child, the 2 felony convictions, each Class 4 felonies, could land Margera anywhere from 2 to 6 years and up to life in prison when he is sentenced in December, according to a press release on the conviction from the Jefferson County District's Attorney's Office. He could also receive probation for a minimum of 10 years and up to life on each charge.
Vincent Roy Margera, commonly known as Don Vito, was an American reality television personality and convicted sex offender.
Number 6, Danny Masterson. The Masterson brothers rose to fame in the early 2000s, with Christopher Masterson on Malcolm in the Middle and Danny on That 70s Show. While Stephen Hyde is an icon to many, his legacy has undoubtedly been tarnished thanks to the legal snafus of his portrayer. It began in March of 2017 when Masterson was accused of sexual assault by 3 different women. This launched a years-long investigation that culminated in 3 separate charges. Masterson pled not guilty, and the trial ended in May 2023, with the actor being found guilty of 2 of the 3 charges. He faces up to 30 years in prison and will be officially sentenced in September 2023.
It took 2 decades for Danny Masterson to be found guilty of rape. The actor, best known for his role in That 70s Show, had been convicted in May of raping 2 women back in 2003. A jury deadlocked on a 3rd count. Masterson and both victims were members of the Church of Scientology. There were allegations the reason it took so long was that the church prevented the victims from reporting the assaults. The women claimed once they came forward, they were harassed and threatened. The church denies the allegation.
Number 5, Kevin Spacey. There are falls from grace. There are terrible falls from grace. And then there's Kevin Spacey. It's amazing how fast his stock plummeted, going from one of the most beloved and respected actors of his generation to a disgraced has-been in the course of a day. His career ended on October 29, 2017, when Anthony Rapp accused Spacey of sexual misconduct. But this was only the tip of the iceberg. The floodgates opened and dozens more accused Spacey of similar inappropriate behavior. It also opened multiple criminal cases and lawsuits. One was launched in May of 2022 when Spacey was charged with 4 counts of sexual assault. A further 7 charges were added the following November. Spacey was found not liable in the Rapp case, and after facing further charges in a UK trial that began in June 20, 2023, he was cleared on all counts a month later.
That disgraced actor Kevin Spacey has been charged with 4 counts of sexual assault in the UK. The 62-year-old actor has been charged with those 4 counts by 3 men. The decision was unveiled today by the UK's prosecution agent.
Number 4, Harvey Weinstein. For a movie producer, Harvey Weinstein was quite the celebrity. His name was plastered on the Weinstein Company, and he helped produce a number of classic films, including Pulp Fiction and the Best Picture-winning Shakespeare in Love. But his name also sparked the Me Too social campaign. Throughout late 2017, Weinstein was accused of sexual abuse by dozens of women, including prominent actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Rose McGowan. He was officially charged with various sexual offenses in May 2018 and has received a combined prison sentence of 39 years.
Happy news, Harvey Weinstein has been sentenced in a Los Angeles courtroom to 16 years for rape convictions. In December, Weinstein was convicted on 3 counts of rape and sexual assault. The 70-year-old was sentenced to 8 years on count 1, 6 years on count 2, and 2 years on count 3, all to run consecutively. He is already serving a 23-year sentence after a conviction on similar charges in New York. Weinstein pleaded not guilty at both trials and has denied all allegations of non-consensual sex.
Number 3, Steven Seagal. Seagal was accused of sexual misconduct by a number of women, including Jenny McCarthy, who said he harassed her at an audition in 1995, and Portia de Rossi, who said he unzipped his pants during an audition with her. He denied the allegations and was never charged with any crimes. And as originally revealed in a January report by The Wrap, actress Regina Simons said she was 18 and an extra on Seagal's 1994 film On Deadly Ground when he allegedly raped her, while former model Fabiola Davis said she filed a police report about Seagal in the last month, saying he groped her during an audition in 2002. During the press conference, Simmons said that Seagal raped her after inviting her to his house, claiming he was throwing a rap party. She said that he was twice her age at the time, and she had not had a sexual encounter with a man before that experience.
And she claims he then took her to a bedroom and assaulted her.
He started kissing my neck and taking off my clothes. I was in shock. I was completely caught off guard. Seagal was more than twice my size and twice my age. I was not sexually active.
Number 20, James Franco. The 2019 lawsuit alleged that Franco and 2 other men sexually exploited female students at Studio 4, a New York and Los Angeles-based acting school Franco founded in 2014. He taught acting there and also at the collegiate level. The plaintiffs, Sarah Tither Kaplan and Tony Gall, sought to represent a class of more than 100 former female students. They alleged the school set out to create a steady stream of young women to objectify and exploit, as well as circumvent California's pay-for-play regulations, which prohibit making actors pay for auditions. They told NPR in 2019 that they were promised that as paying students, they would be offered opportunities to audition for roles in Franco's projects. Part of the complaint involved a class called Sex Scenes, which required students to audition and pay an extra $750. Tither Kaplan said she assumed the class would teach her how to navigate sex scenes professionally, but that she found its goal to be more for students to get naked and do sex scenes and not complain and push the envelope.
Tatiana Liepelt, Violet Paley, and Sarah Tither Kaplan are all accusing Franco of inappropriate behavior.
Number 1, John Travolta. A federal lawsuit accusing John Travolta of assault and sexual battery on 2 massage therapists includes lurid details of one of the alleged incidents. Travolta's lawyers soundly rejected the claims of both plaintiffs and called the claims of the first plaintiff complete fiction. In the first incident, Travolta allegedly groped a male massage therapist repeatedly and finally masturbated himself during the 2-hour session in a bungalow at the Beverly Hills Hotel on January 16, 2012, according to court documents filed last Friday. A second male therapist, who was allegedly sexually assaulted by Travolta at an Atlanta hotel on January 25th, was added to the lawsuit Tuesday.
John Travolta is embroiled in a storyline he wishes he wasn't a part of. 2 male massage therapists have filed sexual battery lawsuits against the star. Charges Travolta's attorney claim are as fiction as most of the superstar's film.
Thanks for joining us on this eye-opening journey through Hollywood's scandalous past. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other juicy content. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and explore more shocking stories with us.